Hi guys, my name is Becca. I'm a senior biology major and chemistry minor here at NKU. I just wanted to make a quick video showing you guys how I've learned how to take notes in my science classes. So I know professors are always telling you guys to rewrite your notes, and I also know how scary and time-consuming that can sound. But I've found that rewriting my notes is the best way for me to retain information that I've learned in class. So I really broke this video down into how I take notes in class and how I rewrite those notes outside of class. So in my chemistry and biology classes, they often work very differently. Chemistry classes usually are using the whiteboard to draw out mechanisms and show us how to do certain math equations. So in those classes, I tend to just grab a piece of paper and a pencil with an eraser because they're gonna mess up and you're gonna mess up and you're gonna want a way to erase that. And I kind of just follow along with what's on the board. It's really sloppy, it's really messy, and the reason I rewrite them is because if I just kept them as is, when it comes time to start studying for exams, I'm not gonna know what a lot of it means anymore because it's so messy and unorganized. While my biology classes, they often use a PowerPoint and lecture from it. So I often, instead of trying to write down everything that's on all the slides, I will just download the PowerPoint and take notes right on those PowerPoint slides. It saves me a lot of time writing. I've got everything together, so I'm not trying to match slides to notes that I wrote on paper later on, and I just have everything on one slide. So here you can see this is one of my microbiology lectures on viruses, and this is the information that I would have had to have kept up with if I didn't use the PowerPoint. And I was just able to make some text boxes and add some notes in the sides of the PowerPoint. That way I can have everything together in one place. So also sometimes I would write in the actual comment section on the PowerPoint. If there was a lot of information, I would just write it all in that box instead of trying to make a bunch of text boxes. I would also sometimes highlight definitions or key vocabulary that I need to make sure I remember. And doing this was a much easier way to keep up in the class. Biology classes can sometimes go very quickly, and this was a way to not get left behind in the lecture. So after class, I would just either save the PowerPoint in a file on my computer, or I would take those papers that I took notes on and just put them in a folder, and then sometime within usually that same day, I would rewrite those notes. So I would put them all in a binder. This is one of my prized possessions, is my organic chemistry binder. And I would rewrite them on loose leaf paper, so I wasn't going through notebook after notebook, and everything was in one place. And then it was organized and nice and neat. I wasn't able to find any of my in-class notes, so you can't see how messy and unorganized they were before, but here are some of my organic notes that I rewrote after class. So you can see here they are separated and nice and neat. You can follow along really easily, and that way I know what everything means and I am not left wondering what I meant when I wrote something. They're very neat, organized. I use colors a lot to separate things. And if we flip further ahead, you can see how neat my mechanisms are. So you can see where things are moving and what they mean, and I even left some notes in blue. The red are the arrows for the actual mechanism, and blue were always notes. And to show you what my biology notes looked like after using the PowerPoint in class, this is an example of my advanced cell notes. So you can see lots of more text, but still some pictures that I was able to keep organized. I could write definitions in color to keep everything nice and neat, and that way I always knew what I was meaning when I wrote something down. So I really sort of turned these notebooks into a type of textbook for myself in that class. So I would, right before each exam, I would make a table of contents going over everything that's important in that unit. So this is for exam 1, and that way I was able to find information later on in the semester when it was time to start studying for finals. And it was also a good way for me to remind myself what we covered in that unit for that exam and what I need to go back over. So this book covers Organic 1 and Organic 2. I have them separated right here with a little post-it tab. And in the front, for Organic 310, which is Organic 1, I have where each exam starts, and then over here I have it broken down a little bit more, but still where each exam is. And I did this because the final in organic covers both classes, and doing this was a great way to help me study information that I covered in the fall semester that I needed at the end of the spring semester. And just for the last few tips, colors are great. Buy the colored ink pens, but don't overuse them. Assign a color for different things. Have a color for definitions. I have a color for my mechanism arrows in organic chemistry. I would use red to draw those arrows, and then I would use blue to make different notes on what I needed to remember for that particular mechanism. I would have a color for examples sometimes, and then I would use more colors in things that I need to bring emphasis to. Like a table, I would organize it by column or row. I would use different colors, stuff like that. But don't overuse it. Don't make every line a different color. You will forget what everything means, and it will be way too much work. Keep things simple and easy to read. And one last tip is to use Quizlet. Quizlet is a great way to make some flashcards for vocabulary or different things that you need to memorize or learn. And then you can use the app on your phone anywhere. So while you're sitting in the passenger seat of a car or riding the bus or eating lunch or walking to class, you can be flipping through flashcards and take that time to just get a little bit extra studying done. So finally, these are tips that I've used throughout the years to learn how taking notes works for me. Particularly, I think this works really well for biology and chemistry classes, probably other science classes as well, and I'm also sure they could be adapted or changed or even used the same way I talked about them in other classes. It's all about being focused in class on getting information and being present and not spending your entire time staring at a paper writing down words that are already on the screen. And it's also about being able to use those notes in the future when you're trying to study for an exam and making sure that you're not confused and lost on why you wrote something to begin with. So thank you for watching. I hope something in this video helps you, and I hope you have a great semester.